Yo, what's good, Rush Nation? We are back. It's Hump Day, Wednesday for those that don't know. And Ash and I have decided, sort of last minute, we were going to be doing running back rankings. And then Ash and I thought, let's just do a mock draft. We both enjoy these things and appreciate, guys. Normally we have other people jump on Tom, Jord, Jack, Jake, whoever wants to come on. Apologies. Ash and I just decided we run this show, so we're taking over and we're doing it together. Ash, it feels like absolutely forever since we have last spoke. Like, has it been? Obviously, I was off last week with the coronavirus, but I kicked that to the curb. I'm back, fighting fit. Has it just been the 1 week, or what's happened?
I think it has only been 1 week, hasn't it?
I think
can't.
so.
It feels like a lot longer, but I'm pretty sure it's only been 1 week. It's because we've had so much stuff on. Like I was away over the weekend at a wedding, and work's been crazy. I reckon it's just been a bit mad, hasn't it? So
Yeah, it's been bananas to say the least. But if you are watching the video, appreciate you coming along. As you can see, we have the mock draft window in front of us. This is our second mock draft. It is on the fly, so who knows what's going to happen and how far we're going to get. Ash and I did decide that we would not do a lot of talking and see if we could get 2 rounds done. And we're already 2 minutes into our tried time of an hour, so that's cut down already. We're not going to be having trades, Ash. That's right. We're gonna hold back from trades till after free agents done, till we know a bit more lay of the land, and then we'll be getting into the meat and bones of another mock draft just before the NFL draft, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so just a straight up draft between the two of us on this one. No trades, and then yeah, as you say, close to the draft, maybe a week, 2 weeks, something like that before. We'll get some of the lads on. We'll do some before the mock draft trades, and we'll do some live trades whilst we're doing it. So be prepared for a bumper episode on that one when it comes about, because we like to drag on normally anyway. So when there's a few of us, it could be a long one.
Absolutely. So last time there was 4 of us. We got a bit of time to think between our picks.
Yeah.
This time we basically don't. Ash is going to go first. I'm going to go second. I'm assuming you've done it this way so that neither of us gets our team in the first round, Ash.
Do you know what? No, just completely random. I just drew. I put mine and your names on a wheel and went spin. Whoever's the first name out is going to be first. And it just so happens that in the first round, neither of us get our teams. So it's worked out quite well. I think it's always better when we don't have our teams. So, but I think we both. No, I think you have your team in the second round if we get there.
Yeah, it's very presumptuous.
Yeah, if we get there. But I don't have my team. I don't have the Steelers at all. So I'll have to listen out for those picks. But
I mean, we should. It would be remiss of us, Ash, if we didn't mention the combine is starting tomorrow. It's
the
very
combine
very
starts tomorrow, I do believe.
Ash's got.
I am looking.
You can see Ash's work. If you are watching the video and you want to see
you can see it.
on the screen. He shared it. Just his casual thoughts. Luckily, Google popped up right there, Rush Nation. Public service announcement. Just before we came on air, Ash was doing a bit of leaning back in his chair to take a photo of his setup for me, and it squeaks like you would not believe. So if you would like to donate to Ash's chair fund, which I'm going to set up in a little bit to come, we would hugely, well, I say we, the listeners, Ash would appreciate a new chair at your end, because it does squeak like something that probably shouldn't squeaking. Definitely, so but let's dive in.
The combine started yesterday, so it just shows how busy we've been this week and how little we are up to speed with the goings on this week.
Yeah, I think perhaps there was its measurements and stuff yesterday, and which before we are now 5 minutes in and we're hugely into time, but let's be honest, this could go longer than however we want. Kenny Pickett's hand size is a bit of an issue. You've mentioned it. George brought it up. Joe Burrow doesn't seem to think it's a bit of a problem, because when he got his hand measured, he put out a tweet saying, thinking about retirement because my hands are too small to grip the slippery ball. And lo and behold, 2 years in, we see the boy in the Super Bowl. So, hand size might not be everything. That's all I'm saying.
No. I think gets a little bit too read into. And as I say, and as you say, Burrows has sort of broken that mold somewhat from his first 2 years. So we'll soon see.
it's a trope, isn't it? It's an easy thing for. I'm not saying you and George were on this train, but it's an easy thing for people to say. Well, this is going to impact Kenny Pickett, sorry, in a bad way. But
Yeah.
hey, right.
I don't know.
Ash, you are on the clock for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Where are we headed?
The more I thought about this, I think the easier the pick was, and I'm pretty sure this was the pick when we did our draft earlier in the last month. We should probably get that up, to be honest, but it's going to have to be Evan Neal, offensive tackle from Bama. Trevor Lawrence needs to be protected. That was a big factor last year, and it's going to be another big factor this year. Cam Robinson is obviously a free agent. There are talks that he may well come back. They got Walker Little in the draft last year. They need protection on the line. They need to protect Kenny Lawrence as much as they can. So
Kenny Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence as much as they can. So yeah, for me, easy first pick, Evan Neal.
You're damn right he went first last time, because I got the number one pick, and I said exactly the same thing. You've got to keep him upright, and that's exactly what happens. Ash has charged me with the unenviable task of trying to keep our live spreadsheet up to date, and I'm struggling already, Rush Nation. That moves us on to, well, I guess the Lions at 2, considering there's no trades to be had here. Ash, the Lions are obviously Jared Goff under center. They need a quarterback, really. This, for me, with this quarterback class, seems to be way too early, right? I mean, do we see them trade back a little bit here?
There is potential for that. Yeah, they could well trade back to try and get some more draft capital, or they could go for a big hitter outside of the quarterback in the second pick, because there's certainly some other areas, well, across the whole field that they need to improve on. But I think there is alongside quarterback another glaring area that they need to improve. So
yeah,
they're going to have to get a decent haul to move from this spot.
I'm just thinking. I can't for the life of me remember if they have another first round pick. I don't think they do they? Oh, they do at 32.
Yeah, they do. They got the Rams picks, who I only realised today when looking at the total order don't have a pick until the 3rd round, and that's a it's a compensationary pick. Technically, they haven't got their own pick until the 5th round, but they've got a 3rd and a 5th They've got a 3rd and a 5th pick given to them. I can't say the word.
Compensatory pick.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know why that surprises you, mate. The Rams just basically don't ever pick in the draft anymore.
That's true.
And to be fair, it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
But I mean,
you can't dispute it, can you?
No, it's a not sustainable. It's a non-sustainable way of winning Super Bowls by doing it that way. And we're here to talk mock draft. We're here to talk the Lions. And for me, I think the Lions trade back, get a quarterback, maybe 5 or 6 picks later, pick up some draft capital. I think they need help at linebacker. They also need help at edge. They have 2 picks in the 1st round. Now, all of the top tier edge talent will go, but there only are really 2 linebackers in this class that are worth a 1st round pick. For me, that's Devin Lloyd and Kobe Dean. Ash, have I missed the linebacker there?
Not in the 1st round, no.
So, and I admit this is very early for a linebacker, but I have huge love for Devin Lloyd, and I think we could possibly, as a organization, pick up a decent edge player at the end of the 1st round. So with that being said, we're going to be taking Devin Lloyd. How do you feel about it?
I mean, it is very early. I think if they were to take a trade, like you say, and maybe drop down to, I don't know, let's say 11 for Washington, or 14, 15, somewhere along those, then yeah, definitely. I think it's maybe a little bit too early, but they do have linebacker need. And you are right, there are more edges in this draft class that are 1st round talent than there are linebackers. And I think if they wait until pick 32, Lloyd and Dean will not be there. So get your player early. I can't complain at that. second overall for Devin Lloyd, maybe a little bit rich for my blood. But
it is rich, I'll give you that. But considering we can't trade back, I'm trying to fill both positions of need. If they do trade back, they could quite handsomely end up with a Devin Lloyd or even a Jermaine Johnson, someone like that, a few picks back, and get that edge. And then maybe one of the linebackers falls to the end of the first. Who knows?
Yeah, very true. That's a real possibility, definitely. Third pick is the Texans, who, much like Lions, have needs all over the park. QB being one of them. We obviously don't know what's happening with Watson, and obviously their QB situation this year wasn't exactly ideal. But again, I don't think the value's there for third overall for quarterbacks this year. They could be another team that look to move back, or they could take a big area of need, which is edge. They do have a significant need at edge, and there are two top quality edges right at the top of the board. It's a difficult one.
I don't think it is.
Well, Hutchinson, I think, is maybe more ready now, but I think Thibodeau has got the more natural potential, and it's just a bit more explosive. Do they want to go for a guy who can be instantly on the field ready now, or do they want to go for a guy
Let's
who's
put
got...
it this way, Ash. The Texans drafted JJ Watt, one of the most explosive edge players, and became a franchise player.
He did,
I think Kayvon Thibodeau has the ability to do that at the Texans. I don't think Aiden Hutchinson can be that guy. I don't think he can be the franchise edge that we know the Texans love.
Do you know what? I think he can, but I think he can be a franchise edge. But I do have to agree that Thibodeau is more exciting. I think he is more boom and bust, but there is no denying the raw potential this kid's got. So I am going to go with Thibodeau, and I am going to go with the absolutely massive potential that there is there for him.
I think it's a good move. As I said, I've put my case forward. So I think it's good. So we move on. Aiden Hutchinson is still there, obviously. I'm sorry, Tom. This is very difficult. Very, very difficult.
It's not for me. There is one. There's a clear pick for me here, but I'm not going to give anything away. I'm going to see if you are on the same sort of lines as I am. But there are definitely a few areas of need here for the Jets.
Yeah.
But there is a clear player here who I think is going to instantly improve them, and someone in particular is going to profit considerably from him.
Somebody really? Okay, you're gonna have to help me out, Ash. You've done everything there except the name.
Okay.
For me,
the
Jets. Obviously, I have another pick for the Jets in 6 picks.
Yeah.
They need corner help and they need edge help. I'm going to go. This is exactly the same for me as the Lions situation. Just the roll of the dice is a bit bigger for the Lions. I think I can get myself Aiden Hutchinson, who is a proven edge threat here. And I think, without giving the game away, this is my theory would be if I was the Jets. And I'm just going to say it because it makes sense for the listeners. I'm hoping that Sauce Gardner is there at 10 when I pick again to get a corner. That would be how I would play it as the Jets front office. Thoughts on that before you can see if you can sway me from the Hutchinson pick here?
No, I think
the only other player here I considered was Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, I think Kyle Hamilton was in consideration for me, but I think Aiden Hutchinson, if he's there at 4, as he is for us, is the pick. I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think he could be the difference maker on the defense for any team. They have got issues across the defense, as you said. I do think that a good cornerback will be there in 5 picks' time. They could potentially look at the tackle as well. There's obviously a couple of tackles that are sat there that they could take, but I just think defense is more pressing for them at the moment. So Aiden Hutchinson would be the one for me as well.
Well, that's exactly what happened. Aiden Hutchinson got punched.
Yeah. So on to the Giants, and there's obviously, every team at the top of the board has got a number of areas that we need that need improving. The Giants are no different, and potentially even worse off than to some of the other teams that we've spoken about. But I'm really struggling. I want to go on. I'm going on the line, I think, but I just can't decide on which side of the line that I'm going on.
What a great place to be.
Exactly, if it's the defensive or the offensive line. Do you know what? I'm going to go offensive line, and it might be a surprise to some. I'm not going to go for Ukwonu. I'm going to go for Charles Cross for the Giants. I think Ikwonu overall is probably a better talent, but I do see him moving into the inside into guard, and I think the Giants need help across the line, and I think they need a franchise tackle to keep Jones upright, and that is why I'm going for Charles Cross. And let's not forget they've got another pick in 1 pick's time, so they could address the guard and the tackle, maybe depending on what the Panthers do.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. For me here, next up with the Panthers, we've got Rob from the chat group, and he basically is on hands and knees 24 hours a day, hoping that the Panthers pick an offensive lineman here because it is something that he desperately feels they need to keep whoever it is behind center for the Panthers upright. I don't disagree. The only thing that I disagree with here is the fact that Kyle Hamilton is still on the board. They need safety help, and at 6, is Kyle Hamilton now becoming the steal of the draft? That is my only concern here. The thing with the Panthers is, was it last year they invested every single piece of talent in the defensive side of the ball?
They did, that is.
I mean, the safety pairing of, if you think you put Kyle Hamilton in and you pair him up with Jeremy Chin, that is a frightening safety pairing at the Panthers.
It is. I think for personally, for me here, it would be quarterback or tackle, offensive tackle.
Yeah, I'm not going quarterback. I just cannot bring myself to pick somebody here. So for all the reasons you just gave for Charles Cross, I'm going to give Ikem Ekwonu the pick for the Panthers because he could play either as well. So I think
I agree.
He gives them the flip that they need on the offensive line. So Rob, if you are listening, my man, that one was for you. Ash, you are next. You are next up with the Giants again, and hopefully that didn't.
It did. It did. Well, it didn't. It didn't because obviously there is another top tier guard that is available in Kenyon Green, but I just don't know if I want to potentially try and address both lines with these 2 picks. I think it might be a bit of a reach taking a defensive tackle at this stage, though. Potentially edge. They could do with some. The reason I'm looking over to the right is I've got my notes of what they need and who's there. So
it's fine. You look away, mate. I put you in a quandary.
Yeah. Do you know what? I am going to continue to build their offensive line. I think Daniel Jones has his faults, but he is a good quarterback. But he is under immense pressure, almost every help on their line. They need someone to throw to as well, but they need drastic help on their line. So Kenyon Green at 7, offensive guard, is going to be the one for me. Short and sweet for the Giants.
Oh, man. The fact they didn't pick up Daniel Jones's 5th year is worrying. The fact that they are shopping, according to not Ian Rappaport, the other fella, I can't remember his name for the life of me, always breaking news. He's
Daniel Jeremiah?
No.
Not sure.
Everyone's going to be screaming at their
probably
they're listening or watching, but the fact that they have basically said, if you fancy a shot at Saquon Barkley, we're open to calls.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Surely that's a little worrying for Giants fans. And as much as you're doing well for the Giants here, Ash, if they don't have a quarterback or a running back, these guards and tackles are going to be
a bit wasted, aren't they? Yeah. Okay. What about the
Wow.
Falcons then at 8? There's a couple. There's 3 options here for me. I think.
So
There's,
I think what the Falcons, obviously, I don't know if you've seen, Matt Ryan's going to be having the largest hit in NFL cap history with 48 million or something this year.
yeah.
It's not going to, I don't think anyone's going to come in and pay Matt Ryan to take on that contract for the last year. So I think he's staying there for another year. The quarterback class, I don't know if it's good enough this year to take somebody here to sit behind Matt Ryan for a year. I think who they drafted at corner, every podcast, Ash, I can't remember who they drafted last year at corner, but he had an outstanding year. Who did they draft last year at corner?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh,
Not Henderson. He went Vikings.
Yeah.
Sertain went.
Nope, he went to the Broncos.
Broncos.
It was somebody junior, maybe.
Paul.
Anyway, I think the move.
AJ Terrell.
AJ Terrell, that was it. He had a lights out year last year, and the Falcons, even with his ability, the Falcons were pretty poor. They do need edge. We could go Jermaine Johnson here, but I think the play here for me is to take another corner and really lock up that secondary for the Falcons for years to come.
Yeah.
As much as I like Derek Stingley Jr.,
yeah,
I really want to take Sauce Gardner here. I really want to take, because I think he has potentially.
I think he could be the top quarterback in this class.
Yeah, because everyone's saying that Derek Stingley Jr. has got the higher ceiling, but I don't know if I want that from my corner. I think I want my corner to be consistently good, as opposed to have flash plays, but then can get caught open or whatever because that flash play hasn't worked. So I think for a defense that needs to build and continue that strength building, I'm taking Sauce Gardner. I'm doing it.
Yeah, no. Gardner, it was Gardner, Malik Willis for me. And the only reason I was thinking Malik Willis is potentially sitting behind Ryan, but of course, like you said, they have got that massive cap hit. So are they going to do that? But yeah, Sauce Gardner, I'll be honest, he was second cornerback for me when we did our initial rankings, but he is my one now. I think he's just overall his game. He's ready. He's ready to step on that field and be a lights out cornerback day one, and put him alongside AJ Terrell. That is a scary cornerback group to have.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Your Broncos. What are we doing? What are we going to do with your Broncos?
I'm out, man.
There's so many places we can go. We can go quarterback. We can go linebacker. We can go edge. I mean, I really want to take a quarterback just because I know you probably don't want one, but that's making me want one more. But
no, to be fair, if you were going to take Malik Willis here, I from what I've seen so far of him, and after the last mock draft and stuff, I would be happy if you're going to take Malik Willis here. I think it's a punt worth doing because I think it's a quarterback that. Go on.
Before I make that decision, who are your linebackers at the moment, or who are your projected linebackers going into 22?
I don't know.
Can't tell me off the top of your head.
No.
Okay.
Bradley Chubb, but I don't know whether he plays linebacker or does he play edge.
He's a hybrid, isn't he?
Yeah,
middle linebackers is where I'm sort of leaning towards at the moment. Have you got?
I got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing.
Well,
to be fair,
you got it for me then.
If Devin Lloyd was here, that would have been an automatic punch because I think he's better than Nakobe Dean. But I think the viciousness that Dean brings to the game, I think would fit in well.
I don't think there's I think Devin Lloyd has got the slight edge for me, but I don't think there's a massive amount of difference between them. I think they both got that sideline to sideline, but just sideline to sideline, they're top tier already. And I think getting someone like Nakobe Dean in the middle of your defense to put it up a step straight away, I think he'll get in straight away as one of the leaders on your defense.
Yeah.
and in an area that is potentially lacking. So I am going to punch in Nakobe Dean at number 9 for the Broncos.
I don't hate it.
I was leaning towards quarterback for the longest time until I saw that Lloyd had already gone, and it made me think of linebackers, which is obviously why I asked the question. So,
No, it's fair. I mean, going back to my point on Malik Willis, he's not like a quarterback that the Broncos have picked in recent memory, and we've picked a fair few. So I think he's very much outside of the mold that the Broncos have picked, and I think obviously you look at the weapons we've picked over the last few years on offense. It's a frightening array of talent, and if we get somebody like Malik Willis, then who knows? Who knows? Okay,
Jets at 10. Home run pick here for me. I already know who I'd be taking.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. For me here, I can't. I don't want to get this. No, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to take Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, that's it for me as well.
There's
no one. They haven't got a safety there that you can that's contracted that you can look at and be confident in. And I think Hamilton at 10
steal
is a steal. Yeah, top safety easily in the class. One of the top players in this draft class.
He's got the potential to go 1. If you really want a safety at 1, if the Jags really want a safety at 1, then he could go 1. He's got the potential.
Yeah, he's a difference maker on the defense for a defense like the Jets that desperately need help.
I think the only other pick there could have been Derek Stingley after us talking about how they needed corner help, and one of the two corners did fall to the Jets at 10, but it's a deep corner class. And
I was about to say, yeah, there are 3 or 4 standout There are 3 or 4 standout cornerbacks in this class, but it is a deep class that I think in later rounds you can get yourself a steal.
Yeah, the ideal thing here is if Roger McCreary's there at the start of the second, we'll take that. Take that. Okay, Ash, you've got the Washington Commanders.
They have got the Commanders, yes, and I mean there is a glaring hole that's punching me in the face.
It's an unusual hole punching you in the face. That's like an Acme cartoon.
Yeah. Do you know what? Obvious, or because he is still there, Derek Stingley at quarterback. I am also looking at him. But I just, it's difficult. But we've said it so much. These quarterbacks in this class, I just don't feel we're ready to be stepping onto the field day one. But someone's going to take a quarterback top 10 that desperately needs one, and Washington need a quarterback. I just don't know. This is very difficult because not only do I not know if I want to go quarterback or Derek Stingley, I don't know what quarterback I would want to go for them. Which is just even worse. I'm going to go Malik Willis from Liberty, and the reason I'm going to do that is because I think he's got the most potential. He's got the highest ceiling out of all the quarterbacks in this class, and they do still have a couple of quarterbacks there that he can potentially sit behind, and these guys can start while he is developing for half a year to a year. It is a big risk because we've seen Washington develop high draft capital quarterbacks in the past that were looked at as high potential, but still a bit of development needed in very recent history. But there's no denying the potential that Malik Willis has got, just that is oozing out of him with a little bit of work. So I think if Washington get him at 11 and he becomes the quarterback that he looks like he can be, they're going to be laughing.
Yeah. I hate that pick because I got the Vikings next, and although they don't need a quarterback, I'm fairly sure Kirk Cousins moves on. So I was going to slam Malik Willis there as a left field pick. I think it's a great pick. I think it's a good pick for Washington as well because We saw Fitzmagic there a couple of seasons ago, and with an enigmatic quarterback, you can do good things. And I think it's a well-built organization team-wise over at Washington. So it's a good pick, Ash.
Willis likes the deep ball, and he's got a couple of deep threats there that will get onto the end of them. So
yeah, home run pick. Right. Just while I type this in. Okay, next up. We got the Vikings. I told you I was going to go quarterback to be unusual and go against the grain. I'm not going to do that. The Vikings have several positions of need. Edge here. For me, I think this is the perfect spot for Jermaine Johnson to go and play football.
Yeah.
It's either that or Derek Stingley to replace. Who did they drafted 2 corners? Was it last year or the year before? And one of them's just been cut. And I think
they picked up Henderson, didn't they? That was no.
They had. My brain has gone to much. COVID brain. No, actually, no. I'm gonna. Gosh.
Second guessing yourself already, aren't you?
Yeah.
You haven't even made the pick yet, and you're already.
I know. I'm going to pick Derek. I'm going to pick Derek Stingley, and because I just think at this point it's it's almost free stuff, isn't it? It's a player of this talent slide into 12 is just ridiculous. So, and I think a man of his caliber can. Who is it? The name is right on the tip of my tongue.
I know they picked up Dantzler.
Yeah,
I don't know the second one that you're referring to. Is Patrick Peterson staying?
No, I think he's gone.
Is he gone? Is he?
Yeah.
Then they need help at cornerback. Dantzler they've got, but I mean he was a 3rd round pick, and I think he had a few issues through the year. Peterson gone. Have they really got much else behind that? Stingley's a good pick here. He could quite easily slot in as the cornerback one from day one, as long as he's fit. A lot of injury concerns with him, but
they like an injury concern there, though.
Yeah,
they like an injury concern.
Of course they do. Okay, Browns at 13, and I thought you might have picked him with this pick, so I am going to take him for the Browns because I do think they need edge help. And he is still above Johnson for me and Ajobo at the moment, and that is George Karlaftis from Purdue. I think he is ready to step in as a starting edge from the beginning. They've obviously lost Clowney. I don't know if they are going to re-sign him. There is talks of it, but I think Clowney's probably out the door, so it makes their need at edge even greater. And I think Karlaftis comes in and instantly is a day one edge that causes quarterbacks issues whenever he's taking a snap. So easy pick that for me.
Yeah, Tom likes that one because he is huge on the Karlaftis train this year.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Good pick. I think it's a bit of a shock considering every mock draft in the entire world I've seen has a wide receiver going to the Browns.
Yeah, I mean they do need wide receiver help, and there is a lot of talk about giving Baker Mayfield the weapons, but I can't look past Karlaftis at 13, knowing that they need edge help as well. And that much like the cornerback class, this wide receiver class is a deep class. There are some top tier wide receivers right at the top of the board, but there are some incredibly talented wide receivers that are going to be 2nd, 3rd, and potentially even 4th rounds. So the value is going to be there, even if they wait until the 3rd round for wide receiver help.
Okay. The Ravens. This one's an easy one. You pick a side of the line and you go with that one. It's just where do they need a center?
I would say yes. I think if you're looking on the offensive line, I would probably say center is one of the key areas that they need to look at. I mean, they need help across the line realistically, but I would say center is probably the most glaring. They haven't been able to replace Yanda really. So if I was going to pick someone on the line, it would be a centre,
Okay, let's do it.
potentially
Let's
a
do it.
tackle.
Let's
Yeah.
just punch Tyler Lindstrom. Linderbaum, he's easily
Yeah.
the best centre in this class, and
Yeah, clearly, yeah, he is easily the top centre in the class. I think you could have gone tackle because obviously yes they got Ronnie Stanley, but Villanueva is probably not staying after his 1 year, so they need right tackle help. But they also, I think centre is the top need for them on the offensive line, and Linderbaum is easily the top centre in this class.
excellent. Ash, we've got the situation now where we picked twice for the Eagles, and you and I both have a pick, so we might as well converse these two picks and see where we'd like to go with, because it doesn't matter as to who picks where, right?
No, well, I mean, you're not wrong, and they also have a number of areas that they could look to improve. I think when we did this, when we did the mock draft in January, we went linebacker, center, cornerback. All three of the players that we picked are already gone, so we've got completely different picks for the Eagles this time.
Yep.
I would say wide receiver is a need for them. But do they want to go for another wide receiver in the first round? We know it's not worked well for them the last couple of years.
I was going to say.
Secondary help is still needed. There is still a very good cornerback left on the board.
Well, I think one of us is going to have to plug.
I think Andrew Booth is the pick for one of these. So we'll put him at 15. Best cornerback left on the board. It's incredibly close between Gardner, Stingley, and Booth overall for the top cornerback. Who, depending on who you talk to, one of them will be top and one of them will be third. But they are very close and easily top half picks in the first round. And then, well, I mean, what's the next one? They could do with an edge. They could do with wide receiver, defensive tackle. I want to go wide receiver.
Do you?
Do they want? Are they going to take 3 first-round wide receivers in a row? I mean, they've got 3 first-round picks, so they've got the luxury this year. But
okay, if we're going to go down this route of wide receiver, are we both still on the Drake London as our number 1 receiver?
Yeah.
Okay, that really pains me. If we're going to plug a wide receiver in here, do we have to put Drake London to the Eagles? Is that?
Yeah, I think we do. He's both of our number 1s. He is the best wide receiver for me in the draft at the moment. So if I'm going to take a wide receiver, the first wide receiver off the board, it would have to be London. We've taken the cornerback that they need. I think linebacker. No, we can't take a linebacker now that Dean and Lloyd have both gone.
The only player we could take is an edge.
Realistically, you've got a Jobo and Jermaine Johnson, but they have got another pick in 3 picks' time. Would the Chargers or the Saints take a wide receiver? I think both could quite easily take a wide receiver. So for me, it's got to be Drake London because I would be very surprised if he sat there in 2 picks' time. It's only 2 picks, but I would be surprised.
Well, the thing is that the Chargers could, and the Saints probably will. And if Drake London is our number 1 receiver, he's not making it back.
He's not making it back. So are we in agreement that Drake London's going in?
Well, I've already put him in the dock.
Okay,
so
there we go then. Drake London is the pick for the Eagles. Who's got the Chargers? I've lost track of who's got who now because we've done that together. I've got the Chargers. Now, am I going to be really difficult and not go wide receiver after all of that?
Well, I know we talked about it, but that's what makes drafts so good, right? You have to try and second guess, especially if you've got picks within a few picks. But you've got to try and second guess the upcoming picks for other teams. And would the Eagles? Let's be honest, the Eagles will have got a wide receiver that will have been a first-round talent in 3 picks' time. They might just not have got their guy. If you are in the market for a wide receiver, then you want one, and you've got a guy, and you've got that pick. Go and get him because, like you said, he might not be there in 3 picks' time.
Yeah. Whilst you've been talking, I have been thinking about the Chargers, and I have narrowed my pick down to 2 people, and it is a wide receiver, and it is a tackle. And I think I am going to go for the tackle because I know he can slot in at right tackle, and I think Chargers will want to prioritize protecting Herbert.
Seems like a good move.
Yeah, exactly. So I am going to go for who I think is the best right tackle in the class, and that is Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa.
Great pick. That was where I would have gone.
I think wide receiver would maybe still be a bit of a luxury pick for the Chargers at the moment with the issues they had on the line last year. They want to keep Herbert fit because when he is fit, when he's on the ball, when he's got it in his hands, he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. So protecting him at all costs. They have got needs on the defensive side, but Trevor Penning can slot in straight away as the starting right tackle and give that line an instant upgrade. Saints at 18. What we think?
Who do I want to see play in London? I mean, what do they need? What are we looking at here? Wide receiver. But then we have no idea what Michael Thomas is doing. It could have been a whole Sean Payton kind of thing, and Michael Thomas could come back and then is a first round wide receiver here. A bit of an issue. Do they go defensive tackle? I mean, DeMarvin Leal is still there. That feels like.
Does the new head coach want a new quarterback to start his tenure?
You're talking free agent here, I think, for me.
Do you reckon?
I think we've seen it with Jameis. I think it's going to be a free agent quarterback. I
don't know. I don't know.
But then aren't the Saints in all sorts of cap hell?
I think I believe so. Yes, I think they're one of the worst. Them and Packers, I want to say, have got considerable issues.
If that is the case, then we are going to go quarterback because they're going to be shelling a whole load of money out of that room if they're trying to make room. I don't want to do it. It's just who fits in best with the Saints scheme from these bunch of second-round quarterbacks.
Personally, for me,
you're going to say Carson Strong, aren't you?
No. I'd be going for the quarterback that I feel like is the most ready to start. But I don't want to say his name because I probably want him at the Steelers. So that's all you're getting.
Oh, well. Okay, well, I'm going to take my second quarterback from this group, and I'm going to take Matt Corral.
Okay.
That's not who you were thinking, no?
No, it's not. Okay. I think Kenny Pickett for me is ready to start now. I think Matt Corral's got more overall potential. I think his ceiling's higher than Pickett, but I just think Pickett's the most. I don't want to say it, but NFL ready, if that makes sense. I hate that saying. I hate that saying. But I just feel like if you're going to get a quarterback into a team like the Saints, you're going to want one who's ready to start. Yes, they've got Taysom Hill still signed up, haven't they? But I think Kenny Pickett would be my personal. But Matt Corral is, I think, overall a better prospect. So I can't moan at that pick at all. It's very close between those two.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett's hand size worries me. Let's move on.
Back to the Eagles, and that is just outright me this time, isn't it? So
just you.
We've addressed cornerback, we've addressed the wide receiver. Defensive tackle or edge. And it just so happens that my cursor is over the player I was looking at before we started this draft for the Eagles at this pick, Jermaine Johnson. Because is Derek Barnett gone? I believe he's a free agent.
He's still there.
I thought I thought he was a free agent this year. I'm fairly sure he's going into free agency. So I am going to go for Jermaine Johnson. Obviously, he had an incredible Senior Bowl that has done his draft stock wonders. But even before that, you can see the athleticism that he's got from the edge position as a pass rusher, as well as he's just non-stop. He has got the engine to go every snap for a whole game. And I think with the edges that are off the board, Johnson is now my next edge up. He has snuck above a Jobo now. So I am. I've already locked it in. The Eagles are taking Jermaine Johnson.
Fair
now
play.
we've got the Steelers.
Right.
Where are you going?
Kenny Pickett. Let's have it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
That
I think it was the pick last time. No.
I've got the board up. Let's have a look.
I think. Did I pick Kenny Pickett last time for the hometown hero?
Yes, you did. Yeah. No, I did. I picked Kenny Pickett last time.
Well, there you
and
go.
The only reason I wouldn't be picking Pickett is if Malik Willis was still there. I know everything I said about Willis, him needing to sit, but just his. I would throw all that out of the window if he was a Steeler. You look at this guy; he could be just absolutely game breaking if he realizes his potential. But I think Pickett is a solid choice. As I said, I think he's probably the most NFL ready, and that is really what the Steelers want. Because let's be honest, we don't want Rudolph stepping on the field on the first game of the season. Anyway, let's move on. Patriots at 21.
Yep. Last time, this was I picked last time, and I took Jackson Hill. I just thought it was the most Patriots pick ever, and
yeah, I mean it is a very Patriots pick. I also think you could be looking at cornerback here. You could be looking at linebacker, but I don't want a cornerback or a linebacker that's left here. And the other bit that the place I'm really leaning for is wide receiver.
Oh, no.
Give Mac Jones another weapon, because let's be honest, the wide receivers last year didn't really pay out for them, because they gave Aguilar a bunch of money after his impressive year the year before, and he didn't really get much done. I'd hate to see. I would absolutely hate to see him land at the Patriots. It would pain me beyond belief. But he is my next top wide receiver, so I am going to have to put him there if I'm going wide receiver, and that is Garrett Wilson.
It's
just horrible to even say his name and the Patriots in the same breath, but Garrett Wilson is top tier. It's incredibly close between him and Drake London, but yeah, easy pick for me with going wide receiver. You just got to watch his route running, and you'll fall in love with him. He's got great hands, and give Matt Jones that weapon that he desperately needs.
Yeah. Next up, the Raiders. If I was excited about this pick, I would turn my hat around because I have a Raiders hat on today, but I'm not. They need help on the defensive line, and DeMarvin Leal is still there. This one makes sense for me. It's boring. There's nothing to it, but
no, it's an easy pick there. They need defensive line help. Leal is the top guy still for me at the moment. Jordan Davis is creeping up there. He is that lad is a monster, but for me, Leal still just has it above him at the moment. And as you say, the Raiders, they need help on that defensive line. So it's that's a good pick.
Thanks.
Cardinals.
Quarterback, because Kyler Murray.
Quarterback, because Murray's off, isn't he? He's had enough. He's packing his bags. No, I think that's all.
Did you see the thing about Kyler Murray sent his? There was he sent his what he wants for his contract extension to the Cardinals, and they've had it for like 3 days and not said anything.
Oh really? No, I haven't read that. No, I have no idea. What to do with the Cardinals? I think cornerback or edge. I think Ajobo could be a good pick because Watt and Chandler Jones are still there, and it gives Ajobo a chance to develop his game a little bit.
Yep.
But they could also do with a cornerback. They could really do with a cornerback. And I really like the fit of Trent McDuffie to the Cardinals. I think that would slot in very well. Ajobo or McDuffie. I'm conscious of the time, so I'm going to be quick, and I'm going to take Trent McDuffie and give them a cornerback help before I go for edge. I think McDuffie is ready to start. He was incredibly consistent at Washington, and he'll be an instant impact, an upgrade for the Cardinals. So,
Ash.
did you like that pick, or are you
I-
happy that someone wasn't taken?
No, I loved it.
Okay.
Because he was going to be a cowboy should we pick.
Yeah, that's very true. That was
very good pick.
Cowboys in a bit of a difficult situation now, because I think
this is for the Cowboys picking at 24. There's pretty much nobody at any of the positions I feel fit the building.
I agree. I completely agree. I think they could do with a linebacker. I think they could do with safety. I think they could do with a wide. They could do with interior lineman help. Do you know what? I think I would be leaning towards one particular person here, and we've mentioned him already on the pod. But what are your thoughts?
So, if I was the Cowboys here, and somebody made me an offer to slide back a few, I might be tempted to pull that trigger.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree.
That isn't an option we can do. So, according to the list, safety is the biggest need. And you look at the players left. Is there any line help that I think is still there? Has Kenyon Green gone?
Yeah, Kenyon Green's long gone.
Kenyon Green's gone. Okay, so
if we're looking at the next, Zion Johnson is the next guard for me, and this next guard on here. I think tackle where we can't really consider any of the tackles. I was leaning safety, to be honest with you. Daxton Hill would be the pick for me if I was picking for them. I think they've lost pretty much all of their safeties, haven't they? Kazi's gone. Malik Hooker, I believe, is gone.
Yeah,
I think safety. If the top four cornerbacks aren't there, safety is the easiest pick for me. If Hill is sat there, but
yeah,
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No. It's the pick I was going to make. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to be that guy that just picks Daxton Hill on every mock draft we do. I don't want people to think that Daxton Hill isn't good and he's just the guy that gets picked when he's sort of best available for whatever sake. So last time it was the Patriots. This time it's the Cowboys. You've only got to go back and watch Daxton Hill's tape at Michigan. It was unbelievable.
Oh he's a quality safety. I think he's being overshadowed because of the love that people got, quite rightly so, for Hamilton. But Daxton Hill is a more than capable safety, and is certainly a first round talent at that, which is unusual to see two safeties as first rounders, but you could potentially see that this year. Buffalo Bills. I mean, they've just got the luxury, really, haven't they? That was such a weird sound.
That was if I could clip that, I would clip that.
I know. They've got a bit of luxury here, really, haven't they? I think they could do with cornerback help, really, in the grand scheme of things, but that's not the direction I'm going. I am going to go for a luxury pick. Maybe a bit of a risk, but I am going to go for Jameson Williams, because yes, he has the knee injury that everyone's got to take into consideration, but I think just the potential of this guy is phenomenal. I think he could. I mean, he will, if he can stay fit, he's an instant upgrade for this already quality wide receiver group for Josh Allen to throw to.
Ash.
Yeah.
Please stop. Every pick. Okay.
Am I nabbing him just before you, am I?
Well, I mean, the Tennessee Titans, they need a wide receiver.
Yeah.
AJ Brown is either not fit or not able to do it on his own because he literally has no other help who is a pass catcher. Derrick Henry, they run the ball a lot, yes, but they need another wide receiver here. Jameson Williams was going to be my guy because he's very much different to AJ Brown. What else is there? Guard and center.
It's I mean, the first thing for me is linebacker, but they're both gone, and there still isn't a linebacker that I would be comfortable taking in the first round outside of Dean and Lloyd. So that is priority one for me if either of them are there. But because they're not there, I would have to agree with you. Wide receiver would be the pick because yes, they have got other areas they need to fill. linebacker, cornerback, maybe center, even potentially. But again, Linderbaum's gone.
I'm sticking to my initial process. I'm going wide receiver.
Yeah.
And the other Buckeye is off the board. Ash Chris Olave is going to be a Titan.
Yeah, and I think that's a good pick. I think he's my next wide receiver, and I think he would make a great wide receiver too for any team.
Yeah, I think he slides in nicely opposite AJ Brown as well.
100%. Yeah, those short routes, intermediate routes. He's one of the most comfortable with the ball. So Buccaneers.
Quarterback.
Is Tom Brady really gone?
Well,
yeah,
that would be the most un-Super Bowl winning thing ever, wouldn't it? Tom Brady doesn't win the Super Bowl, and oh look, I'm back.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, would they take any of these quarterbacks?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I don't know. Do you know what? If they were going to take any, I think it would be Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm going to go for an area of need outside of the quarterback. But it is another. Well, it sounds very similar. Cornerback, and I'm going to go Keir Alam. They've lost Carlton Davis. He's gone in free agency, I believe.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to replace him, and I think they're going to want to replace him with a high pick. Alam's the next cornerback up for me, and I think he is teetering on first round. I think at this stage for a team like the Buckeyes, they can pick up a guy like Alam who has shown at Florida what he can do, but he's another guy that's got slight injury concerns. But if he can stay fit, he's quite easily a cornerback one.
Okay. I like it. It fits well. I'm stalling because I've got the Green Bay Packers next at 28, and there is a million things that could happen before now in the draft for this next pick to be completely irrelevant. There's now talk of contract extension for Aaron Rodgers. They've got Jordan Love, so they're not going quarterback here regardless. Wide receiver, Devontae Adams is technically a free agent. Is he going to be in Green Bay next year? Is that completely reliant on the Aaron Rodgers deal getting done?
I don't think they can keep one, and I don't think they can keep both. I generally don't think they can do enough to their cap to keep both of them. And I think if they have the choice, they're going to try and keep Rodgers in town.
Well, okay, then I'm just that makes this pick super. If we're going to go on that basis, this has to be a wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The clear cut next guy for me is Treylon Burks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree there.
It's easy, and
he's just incredible specimen. Like when you the size that he is, but how cleanly he can run his routes and how cleanly he can catch the ball and how fast he is for his size.
Yeah.
Even at 28, he could be a steal. And that's saying a lot for the fifth wide receiver off the board. Fifth wide receiver off the board. I think he could be a steal at 28 because he's just it's crazy. Anyway, Dolphins. Is this their first pick? No, we've had a Dolphin. It is their first pick.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, of course they traded theirs to the Eagles, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do the Dolphins need? This one's a bit of a difficult one, actually. Let's have a look. See, they do. Offensive line actually is probably the one, but who's left? I'm not too comfortable with the tackles. There's probably one that I would still potentially take a risk on. Center, they could do with. There isn't a center for me that's first round. I'm going to go tackle.
Oh.
Okay. I'm probably not going to go for the tackle that you're thinking I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for Bernard Raymond from Central Michigan.
Oh, go Chippewas.
Because I think he has the potential to play tackle, but he also has the potential to slip inside. And depending on what the Dolphins do in free agency and with the rest of their draft picks, they could quite easily slip him inside into guard and him to be a starting guard,
Hmm.
or he can stay on the outside. He has that dual ability, and his potential is quite high. I think he is maybe one of the more raw tackles out of all of them. But I think looking at what's available, it had to be offensive line, and Raymond's the next guy up for me.
Okay. Sorry, Ash, I was getting lost in the Chiefs there. I was difficulty. Who did you pick? Sorry.
Bernard Brayman. You really weren't listening, were you?
No, yeah. Okay, cool. I feel like the Chiefs pick is a luxury pick, although they need help on the line.
Are they gonna? Is Tyron coming back?
I don't know.
I think he will. Do you know? I think they will re-sign him. I can't see him wanting to go anywhere else, and I can't see the Chiefs wanting him to go anywhere else. So I do think he'll stay. I think if he wasn't coming back, I think safety would be the priority. But I do feel that he will be coming back.
I think he is his best place to be, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's two options for me. I'm not entirely sure. The one position I know 100% who I take. The other position I'm not entirely sure who I take. So it would push me towards the player I'm 100% on from the other position.
Okay.
That probably doesn't help at all.
No, not really. I'm in a bit of a quandary here. I don't know. Has Zion Johnson gone?
No, he is still there. He is still there.
I feel like after all the abuse that Mahomes has had, they need that line to be better. And I don't know whether Zion Johnson would be the pick for me here, or maybe somebody around along the edge like a David Ajabo.
So Ajabo was the one from me for the one position with a person that I was confident with. Okay. And the other one is a wide receiver, but I'm not.
Do you think they need a wide receiver?
I don't think they need anything, but I think
can they afford to go wide receiver in the first round after taking a running back in the first round that didn't pan out?
It would be a risk, but
actually,
I think if anyone can afford to do it, it would be the Chiefs. However, I think logic speaking, I think Ajabo would be the better option, or Zion Johnson. I think they would be the more sensible options.
Okay, let's take the guard. Let's be boring for the Chiefs and try and make them better.
Zion Johnson.
Zion, okay. Yeah.
So Zion, sorry, Zion.
I'm just Zion's a cool name. We considered it for our son.
Yeah. So this has put me in a bit of a difficult situation for the Bengals now. And I think it's the first time I've had that, isn't it? Because let's be brutally honest.
I mean, to be fair though, I'd rather Joe Burrow stood upright.
Yeah, even at this stage with everybody that's gone, I still want to try and improve that line. I can't look past offensive line for the Bengals despite everybody that's gone off the board. Maybe defensive tackle. Jordan Davis is still sat there. Yeah. Can we really let him fall into the second round? Realistically, if I was going to go offensive line, there isn't any guards now that I would want in the first round. I would consider taking Darian Kinnard and Petit Ferrer, and I wouldn't consider taking any centers. But Jordan Davis just is above them for me. But yeah, their offensive line need is so apparent.
It really is. It's this head and heart moment, isn't it?
I am going to stick to my guns that the Bengals need help on the offensive line, and I'm going to go for Darian Kinnard. I think he is another one of those linemen that can go inside to guard or stay tackle, and they need help in both areas. So depending on what they pick up in free agency, they have the luxury of moving him in and out. And they just need help on the offensive line. It pains me that potentially Jordan Davis is dropping out, but I cannot look past trying to help the Bengals on the offensive line, even with everyone that's gone before Kennard.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense. The Lions.
Are back again. And what do you even remember the conversation that we had? Okay.
Yeah, I said I think an edge player will fall will fall to 32. I said let's get a linebacker because there won't be one at 32.
Yeah.
And then let's get an edge. And I think I might have.
You saw into the future quite clearly.
Yeah, I mean, David Ajobo's still here.
Yeah.
Now, Ash, is it too? I don't know. They obviously need a wide receiver. As much as Amon-Ra St. Brown stood out at the second half of the season, I'm not sure he's got what it takes to be an alpha on his own. He could well be, but does he need somebody opposite him like a Drake London from 2 years ago to be the other guy?
I mean, quarterback.
I can't do it. I can't. I said edge. I've got to live by that.
You do. Yeah.
I'm just trying to decide whether there's a wide receiver here that's still available that is better than David Ajobo for the Lions.
To complement Amon-Ra, there are two guys maybe I would consider, but I do think it's too early.
So one of them has to be Jahan Dotson, right?
Yes.
And
it's Dotson and Bell would be my considerations.
Really? Even Romeo Doubs is great on the outside, though.
He is. But I do think, regardless of the need, to be honest, I think regardless of the need for wide receiver, it's too early for any of those guys. I'd be comfortable taking them in the second round. But
I mean, first round, we do have a pick in a few picks time.
Yeah. Well, we'll get onto that in a minute.
We would have.
We would have. But I want to quickly touch base once you've selected your pick. But
yeah, okay, let's do it. David
Ajobo. Yeah. For me, I think it has to be Ajobo. And then, to be honest, depending on what the Jags were to do, which would, I don't know what. Where would the Jags go for their next pick? I know we're not doing the second round because I'm conscious of time already. They did. They settled the. To be honest, they quite easily. Trevon Walker. They still. We mentioned edge right at the start. You are, Murph. It's already done. They mentioned. I mean, we mentioned edge right at the start. So Trevon Walker, potentially Cameron Thomas, or they could look to wide receiver. Quite easily, if there's no chance Jordan Davis is leaving the first round, but we could quite easily see Ajobo and Davis with those two picks, Lion picks, and then still pick up a wide receiver later, and be happy with a wide receiver that they pick up later.
Yeah,
because I mentioned it earlier. There's a number of wide receivers that you could get second, third, fourth round.
I think perhaps David Bell would be the guy for me at the start of the second for the Lions here, and. Big fan of David Bell. Big fan. Yeah, you're right. I think as much as I didn't want to take David Ajobo there, I did say edge, and I think it fits well. And yeah,
I don't know how, Murph. I'm really sorry. I've been trying to figure it out, but I don't know how to zoom in on Google.
Okay. It's got to that point, Rush Nation, where it was quite clearly only ever going to be a one-round mock draft.
I mean, I was really confident until about 3 picks in.
So difficult to keep it short, isn't it? Ash, pay attention to the podcast, my friend.
I am paying attention to the
podcast. Keep your business to yourself. Russ, for the audio listeners out there, Murph's jumped in and he said, "Can you zoom the board if you're watching the video because it's hard to read?" We're working with what we got. We are a little pop production, but no, it's.
I had every confidence that we could get into the second round until about 3 picks in, where we'd been going for 15 minutes. So
yeah, it's one of those things though. It's almost you just have to reel a name off and then move on, and reel a name off and move on, and then is that what people want?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
How
they could
many
tell us.
rounds? Yeah, if you're listening and you want to hear just names and numbers reeled off for as many to get to just names and numbers. If we could get to round 3, then perhaps. But Ash, we could do sort of leading up to the draft. We could do a 7-day mock draft where we do a round a day.
I like the sound of that.
Because obviously,
do you really want to get into the 6th and 7th round picks? I mean, I have no issue doing that because.
But when we get to that, it is literally a name and number, and we could do 3 rounds in an hour.
True. Yeah. True.
It wouldn't be difficult at that point. That might be something that we could speak about. It wouldn't necessarily have to be us either. We could do the first 3 rounds and then let the others do the later rounds. I don't know. Something to think about. Ash, shall we run through this for the listeners?
Yes, definitely.
You're the mic man. Over to you.
So, Jags at number 1 took Evan Neal, offensive tackle from Alabama. Lions at 2 took Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah. Texans at 3 took Kayvon Thibodeau, edge from Oregon. Jets at 4 took Aiden Hutchinson, edge from Michigan. Giants at 5 took Charles Cross, offensive tackle, Mississippi State. Panthers at 6 took Akeem Ekwonu, offensive tackle from NC State. Giants at 7 took Kenyon Green, offensive guard at Texas A&M. Falcons at 8 took Sauce Gardner, cornerback from Cincinnati.
I like Smoke though.
Yes, that's a different player. Broncos at 9 took Nakobe Dean, linebacker from Georgia. Jets at 10 took Kyle Hamilton, safety from Notre Dame. Washington at 11 took Malik Willis, quarterback from Liberty. Vikings at 12 took Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback from LSU. Browns at 13 took George Karafalitis, edge from Purdue. Ravens at 14 took Tyler Lindenbaum, offensive center from Iowa. Eagles with their 15th pick took Adrian Booth Jr., cornerback from Clemson. Eagles again at 16 took Drake London, wide receiver from USC. Chargers at 17 took Trevor Penning, offensive tackle from Northern Iowa. New Orleans Saints at 18 took Matt Corral, quarterback from Mississippi. Eagles at 19 took Jermaine Johnson III, edge from Florida State. Steelers at 20 took Kenny Pickett, quarterback from Pittsburgh. New England took Garrett Wilson, wide receiver at 21. Raiders at 22 took DeMarvin Leal, defensive tackle from Texas A&M. The Cardinals took Trent McDuffie, cornerback from Washington at 23. Dallas Cowboys at 24 took Daxton Hill, safety from Michigan. Buffalo Bills at 25 took Jameson Williams, wide receiver from Alabama. Titans at 26 took Chris Olave, wide receiver from Ohio State. The Buccaneers at 27 took Kier Alam, cornerback from Florida. Packers at 28 took Treylon Burks, wide receiver from Arkansas. Dolphins at 29 took Bernard Raymond, offensive tackle, Central Michigan. The Chiefs at 30 took Zion Johnson, offensive guard from Boston College. The Bengals at 31 took Darian Kennard, offensive tackle from Kentucky. And the Lions at 32 took David Ajobo, edge from Michigan.
Well done. Well done. Not a huge amount of hiccups in there, considering you just did about 400 words in the space of a couple of minutes. Well played, sir. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it.
It was good. It's good fun.
I think the thing for me there that made it not more enjoyable, but a difference of enjoyable was we didn't know we were doing this about an hour and a half ago. So the fact that we flipped on the last point and just, what do you know, Joe, right now is good fun. It made sense. It made sense. We will, of course, be doing the running backs. Ash, we're not going to let that slide before the draft. We just it was mock draft Wednesday.
Yeah,
That's a thing now, apparently.
yeah. Not. Well, I mean, I'd happily do it every Wednesday, but maybe not every Wednesday.
Well, no, it would be too much. It would be too much. Listen, Ash, next week we're doing running backs, right?
We are indeed, yes. Running
Okay.
back breakdowns.
Looking forward to it. We may or may not have a guest. Who knows? Someone might come along. Rush Nation, it has been a pleasure as always. Ash, it's been good to be back.
It has, yeah.
It felt a bit weird not doing it last week, but COVID got the better of me, so I'm back. It's been fun. Listen, you stay safe, mate. Take it easy. Don't. I hope you don't have to venture up to Middle Earth anytime soon. And we'll be back next Wednesday for the fun and games of the running back review. Well, I imagine there'll be some combine chat to be going through as well, Ash.
There definitely will, yes.
All right, I'll tell you what we'll do. There is a chance that we don't do running backs next week. Just saying.
We'll see. I think we can do both. We can manage it.
Yeah, it just depends on how much of your Wednesday night you want to see spent with me and Ash. Let's
True that, yeah.
Hey, listen, we'll be in your ears again next week, Rush Nation. It's been a pleasure as always. Look forward to the combine. Look out for those names that you might not know because they could pop off your screens. Rush Nation, that was the second of probably 35 mock drafts. 35 seems like a lot, Ash, doesn't it? 35 is probably 5 too many. But hey, listen, running backs and combine talk next week. Rush Nation, Saturdays are for rushing to